99% of all narcissistic abuse victims are being financially abused. And here's the wildest part. You may not know that it's happening to you. That certainly was true for me. It wasn't until my ex declared his intentions to take my money did I realize what had been going on. Could this be happening to you too? Hi, I'm Dr. Kerry Kerr McAvoy, a mental health clinician with over 20 years of counseling experience, and I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor. And this is the 21st episode of Toxic Love. If you're interested in learning more about pathological love relationships, please stick around by subscribing to this channel, where each week I'm deconstructing a toxic relationship from start to finish. And let me know that you're enjoying this video by hitting the like button. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to outline the practical steps to take if someone is financially abusing you. So let's first start off by defining financial abuse. It's a form of control where one person manipulates or restricts another's access to financial or economic resources. Money becomes the tool that they use to exert power and dominance. Most of the time, we imagine scenarios where someone aggressively cuts off another's access to funds. But this abuse can be subtle, like concealing take-home pay, siphoning money into another account, or forging signature on a legal document. According to Wire, an online resource for abuse victims, financial abuse is withholding money, controlling the household spending, or refusing to include one's partner in financial decisions.
He left me on my bank account, but I didn't have a job. I was a stay-at-home mom. And at that point, as like a 25-year-old girl, I lost all access to money for the next 20 years. So in the beginning, what he'd do is he'd give me little envelopes of cash. So like if I was going to Walmart, he'd say, how much do you estimate you're going to need? And I could estimate $80, and he'd give me $80. And I got really good at like putting stuff at the back of the conveyor belt that like if the total was $90, I could say, well, I don't really need the mayonnaise and I don't really need that extra thing of paper towels. There were months that I ran out of money living in a $1 million house, and that I would literally call my mom and ask her if she could send me $20 to buy milk for the week. My name was never on any of our homes. My name was never on any of our cards. When we divorced, I wasn't even a roommate in our condo.
In the Netflix series Made, we meet Alex Russell. She's a young mom who's attempting to escape the abuse of her alcoholic husband with barely $1 to her name. She begins working as a maid while navigating the confusing maze of government assistance and fighting for the custody of her young daughter. Every time she financially succeeds in one area, she is hit by another huge setback.
Where's my car?
Nate's car.
What?
Nate's car.
What are you talking about?
I gave it back to the prick. I was sick of looking at another man's car in my driveway.
You didn't do that. You didn't do that. You gave it back to him.
Yeah.
No. No.
Look, if he wants to do charity work,
No. No.
he could
Sean,
donate it to the
Sean,
Red Cross.
Sean, that's my fucking car. That is my life. That is my only way for me to leave here. Sean, that's
Late
the
for
only
work.
way for me to do anything.
I'm late for work!
But financial abuse is something that many people face in their daily lives. It can range from the woman whose husband won't let her have a credit card to the man whose partner takes his paycheck every week and then gives him an allowance to live on, or the older parent whose adult child uses their retirement savings without their knowledge. The common thread among these diverse examples is a stealthy erosion of financial independence and the power imbalance that gets created. Financial abuse strips a person of the sense of control over their own life. But to understand the power of financial abuse, we need to first think about the role money plays in our life. It provides access to food, shelter, and even safety. Everything relies on the currency of money. It is the currency of our autonomy. Our independence and freedom depends on our ability to have control over our own finances. Imagine being trapped without the resources to escape, subject to constant control and manipulation. The stress, the anxiety, and the sheer exhaustion of living in such a circumstance would be unbearable. It would be like being caged, but the bars aren't made of steel, but of bank statements and credit scores. So why do narcissists use financial abuse? Because it's about control and fear. Remember, the narcissist's shame-based core is hinged around not wanting to be found out and yet not wanting to be left or abandoned. So they use their relationship to confirm their superiority and to seek validation. And they do this by taking control of another person, including their finances. This process creates a dependency between them and the other person. They've essentially tied that person to them, making it harder for the victim to leave. We see this in Alex's story.
We need somewhere to live.
We were lucky to get you into that last apartment.
I'm on 7 different types of government assistance right now, and I'm working the maximum hours I can work without getting my benefits cut. But after food and gas and daycare copay, we have a total of $9 extra every week. That's a box of tampons. How am I ever supposed to afford rent, even subsidize rent, with $9 extra every week? How is this assistance assisting me? I can't keep living with my mother.
It's opening. Your heart chakras are beating.
Mom.
Oh,
Please. It's 4 in the morning.
Financial abuse ensures the narcissist's needs are met, but at the cost of another person's freedom. The first step to breaking the financial abuse is recognizing that it's happening to you. Ask yourself these questions. Do you have access to your own bank accounts? Are you being kept in the dark about the household finances? Are you being quizzed about how much you spend or the mileage you put on the car? Have you discovered there's debt that's been accumulated in your name without your knowledge? The effects of these can be devastating, resulting in poor credit scores, limited access to money, and a crippling lack of financial self-confidence. Here's how financial abuse happened to me. I learned I had gotten bad international legal advice when I was setting up a new company, and I named my then new husband as partner, not realizing that that decision meant I was implying he had contributed equally to the startup funding when he had contributed nothing. When our marriage was collapsing, he demanded I split the company's assets despite all of the capital being my contribution. It never occurred to me he would abuse our lifestyle, and it also never occurred to me that our lifestyle was actually abuse of me, since I was the one footing the financial bill. And it was only later, after the relationship was over, did I discover he'd been stealing from the joint account to fund his illicit activities. Financial abuse can look different in every different situation. Here's what to do if it's happening to you. First, seek legal advice. Don't assume that you know or that your partner knows the law. I can't tell you the number of times I have counseled patients who had gotten bad information because they were relying on what they had learned from social media or what their partner has said. Learn the law in your area by seeing an attorney. Second, establish your own bank account. It's possible to do this from the comfort of your own home through online services, and then start putting something in it, even little bits at a time. Every bit helps. Thirdly, keep a running record of all instances of financial manipulation. Fourth, make copies of the most important paperwork like passports, marriage license, birth certificates, bank account informations, deeds, wills, trusts, and keep them in a safe place, preferably offline. Fifth, reach out to the local domestic violence organization for support and guidance. And finally, build a support system, which is crucial. Remember, you're not alone in this fight, and isolation is a great way to keep you silent and dependent. Financial abuse is an insidious form of abuse, but by understanding its dynamics and taking steps to protect ourselves, we can begin to break free. Has this video helped make an impact? If so, please like, comment, and subscribe. And see the show notes for more information. The list of financial abuse descriptions was too long to cover, and also there's just way too much information that I just couldn't provide. So I put it in the links in the notes below. Please know that this is a nasty type of abuse and that you're not alone in this situation. And remember, you're stronger than you think, and there is help out there. You're not alone. You deserve a life free of control and manipulation. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to check out last week's when I described gaslighting. And you're not going to want to miss next week when I describe the perfect characteristic of a narcissistic abuse victim. Could that be you? Hey, big hugs and stay strong and safe.